The third outcome is that some variable happens between now and the election that offers the current administration an opportunity to cancel, cease, or postpone the elections, right? So as an example...
Well, that's going to create a war.
The death,
I think so too.
So,
you're talking about the death of Biden,
or some sort of emergency.
That
right?
doesn't matter. The death of Biden. When's the last time a presidential election got postponed, Bob?
Not to my knowledge ever. I mean, I was going to ask you what could possibly supersede like the U.S. Civil War or even COVID, for that matter, when everyone was
I would say,
or two world wars, or I mean,
if Biden dropped dead because of old age or whatever, and then let's say Trump got picked off, which, by the way, is still pretty fucking shocking to me that he's alive. Like, I thought if you're gonna take out JFK, you probably would have taken out Trump.
I think it's too obvious now to do something like that.
So let me just give you some examples. Biden doesn't die, but he goes into some state of mental unreliability.
There. He's already there.
So if
but you're talking about invoking the 25th, and then Kamala Harris is president, but then they have the DNC has to nominate somebody to actually run, but that's not the U.S. government's problem. That's the DNC's problem, right?
The point I'm making is that while it may be a low probability, there's a third probability here. There's a third scenario.
Sure, and looking at it from a scientific matter, you have to say what those probabilities are.
Another example, what happens if a foreign country invades or attacks the United States?
Pearl Harbor didn't stop any elections, right? But it wasn't a ground invasion. Although, I mean, nobody's going to invade through the ground. They're just going to use illegal immigration to do it. Now, if there are massive attacks all over the country, that's a whole other story.
There are outcomes that could result in something unprecedented. And that's what I'm saying is the third category. How many unprecedented things have we seen in the last fucking 4 years?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, the pandemic thing, I never would have thought in my lifetime.
Never would have thought that, right? Like, there are so many unprecedented events that are happening. To rule out something as being feasible because it's unprecedented is no longer viable for us. So we have to consider at least 3 outcomes.
So what do you think, not a specific thing, but what would that look like to postpone the election? Who even has the authority to do that?
I don't know the answer to that, but I guarantee you that someone has it's in the amendment of the United States that we can change.
Somewhere buried, way deep down.
There's a way to do it.
I think
whether it's postponed, whether it's deferred, whether a subset of the voting population is all that's allowed to vote. Who knows what? Like, just consider the fact that even with your point, the DRC has to pick who gets nominated. Well, where's the American people land in the DRC's decision?
Well, hopefully it's the DNC and not the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Thank you. Excuse me.
We should not give them control over our elections.
Hey, we don't know that we're not there yet, so let's not say.
I'm trying to, let's see, in 1845, Congress enacted a federal statute to establish a, quote, uniform time for holding elections, blah, blah, blah. Postponing a presidential election would break this 175-year precedent. In order for a federal election to be postponed, Congress would have to enact an amendment to the 1945 federal law, which means both houses would have to agree. So Congress could do this. Now, it would take 60 votes in the Senate, because cloture votes are a standard now.
What we're talking about is a window of 175 days.
Yeah. No, 175 years. That's how long it's been a federal law. Well, now it's 175 years.
It's supposed to be a window for election.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
How long is that window? Because that's another thing.
It's supposed to be 6 months, right?
I don't know.
Because Pennsylvania got sued in 2020 for making electoral changes within 6 weeks of their general election. I think that's illegal.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer. I'm just, when I look to the future, the unprecedented is becoming more and more possible.
I understand that.
I think if Congress voted to postpone the election, I think there would be a civil war in this country.